Does Parkinson's happen suddenly or does it develop slowly over time usually?
Typically develops very slowly over time. And so it's actually recognized, but there are many what is also labeled as premotor features.
Mhm.
So, for example, people often lose their sense of smell, maybe even 10 years before they develop other features of Parkinson.
Interesting.
And so the reason for that, there's at least this theory that has some pathological backing that there might be environmental triggers that get into the body through our nose and mouth. So there's a might be a trigger that changes these proteins we talked about, these alpha-synuclein proteins, and then the ingest these particles through the nose can affect the olfactory fibers and lead to loss of smell.
Interesting.
So loss of smell is often a common early feature of Parkinson, as is constipation. And that is also felt that these particles that might be trigger factors get into the body through the GI tract.
Oh, interesting. So do we know what these triggers might be? Do we have any idea?
We do. And interestingly, it's more and more recognized that it's not just kind of a coincidental process and just, oh, we're just getting old and our cells slow down.
Mhm.
But it's more and more recognized that actually toxins in the environment, specifically pesticides, other chemicals, might be frequent triggers for Parkinson's.
Okay. Well, clean living is very important, and I think everyone can agree on that. So I think all the corners of the internet would agree with trying to stay away from pesticides and toxins, right? The question is, how do we do it? Right?
Absolutely, and it's easier said than done, and it's also true that toxins we were exposed to decades ago can have slow-lasting or slower-starting impact many years later.
Right.
So we can't change the past, unfortunately.
Right.
But Parkinson's, for example, is also recognized as a service-related disability by the VA.
Huh.
So, for example, veterans who have been exposed to Agent Orange can claim this as a service-related disability. But there's more and more clusters of Parkinson's, and including here in New York State, Hudson Valley. So many places that have had pesticide exposure through agriculture,
I see.
but also chemical exposures, for example, from dry cleaning sites, other chemical waste sites. And, the more actually ask people in my practice about their profession, I often do find sort of a pattern.
Hmm.
I just recently had a patient in my practice where both he and his wife got Parkinson's disease,
Oh
which,
gosh.
was sort of unexpected, but they
Yeah.
lived close to a dumpster site and had agricultural exposure to pesticides. So unfortunately, these patterns do play out more and more. And, yeah, I mean, of course, going forward, there are things we can do. From a society standpoint, we can advocate against the use of known toxins like paraquat and other pesticides. And of course, in our personal lives, we can try to limit the pesticide exposure.
Right.
And this is maybe a good chance to make a plug for a recently released book by doctors Ray Dorsey and Michael Oken. So, they're some of the leading Parkinson doctors, I would say, in the US. And there's a really nice book published last year called The Parkinson's Plan, where they actually put together some of these actionable points we can all do to minimize the risk for Parkinson's. And even if you already have Parkinson's, to potentially slow the progression.
Wow. Okay, wonderful. We'll definitely include a link to that book in the show notes. So thank you so much.
Sounds
So do you think we're seeing more cases now than you have, say, at the beginning of your career?
I would say yes, and, Parkinson's is actually the fastest growing neurodegenerative disorder in addition to Alzheimer's disease, and part of it is that we are getting older, the population is getting older,
Right.
but I would say that, yes, that these man-made, exposures definitely play a role. There's also some data even on air pollution being linked to neurodegenerative disorders.
Mm.
So we currently have about 1 million people with Parkinson's in the US and about 6 million worldwide. but the numbers are predicted to grow exponentially in the next 20 years. So we are we are trying, like what we do today, raising awareness on some things we can do to potentially minimize the risk, because there's a lot of fear that the numbers are really grow even more than we see today.
Yeah, I mean, the fear of losing one's mind and of facilities are it's one of the scariest things, right? You can do all the things right otherwise and, lift weights and exercise, but if you lose your mind, then, what's that good for, right? You don't even know what's happening. It's a scary thing. So I'm definitely very glad that we're talking about this and trying to prevent it, as much as possible. So many people think of Parkinson's as just a tremor, but there's so much more to that. What are some of the earliest warning signs that you're developing Parkinson's?
So some of the earliest signs, as we had briefly mentioned before, is this loss of smell
Right.
and constipation.
Hmm.
And there's another interesting phenomenon. It is called a REM sleep behavior disorder.